Blowfish.
Blowfish. There we go.
We like to... No. Welcome to the Backlot 605 podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am Casey Kelderman.
I'm Brian Mensing.
And today we are joined by the one, the only, Blake Ginithan.
Hello.
Yes, had to build up suspense.
You don't have to
Or just run out time.
You're just like, let's stretch this out just a little bit.
I'm going to stretch this out from the beginning. Just stretch it out.
I came up for the interlude. We have the musical interlude we're going to put through.
Yes, that's why you're here.
I thought you hated musicals.
No. Yes, I do. Sorry.
That is a hot take.
You were, as him and I are both like, you are wrong.
I just don't prefer them. I don't like them. I've never been excited for a musical. So.
That's okay. After last week's episode, we're going to do an entire episode on hot takes. Corey, thank you for bringing that one on. If you haven't listened to last week's episode about the best worst movies, Corey Jacobson, our guest from that week, had a very hot take, and I loved it.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, and I think I halfway agreed with it. Yeah.
Like I'm sure all of us have some sort of hot take. Like that.
He gave
no.
It's not like he just said, Here it is, and walked off and made us try to figure out where the hell he was going. He actually gave us legit.
He gave great points.
Yeah, to the point where you're just sitting there going, son of a bitch.
It's like if someone says Forrest Gump is a bad movie.
They're wrong.
Well, hot takes. We'll do that eventually. But to kick it off, Brian, where do we want to start? Do you want to start with a new thing we're going to be doing here? Or do you want to
do the news, man?
Yeah.
Do you want to start with the news?
Yes.
Or do we want to start with what we watched recently?
No, we're going to start with the news. I'm with Blake here.
Let's do the news and let's do recent watches.
Okay, because the news is kind of boring this week, to be honest. We're going to follow up with something we talked about 2 weeks ago with Andy the Fat Dude. It is now confirmed that Andy Serkis will be officially directing Venom 2.
Did you see his Instagram post announcing it?
Oh, yeah. With the picture, with the image?
Yeah. Well, it's
with
Instagram. Of course it's got an image.
It could have been a black
It could have been
picture.
text.
Yeah.
It could have been a picture of text.
But yeah. I love the fact that he had Gollum coming out of the mouth of Venom, though.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had with the clapper, the movie Clapper and everything like that, and Gollum just looks crazy disturbing.
Like he doesn't already, or
like glassy white eyes on top of it.
Oh, kind of like
Venom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we think of this? We talked about it on that episode with Andy, but I'm all for it.
I mean,
I think Serkis is a good choice for this.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, what has he directed before?
Mowgli.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
on
and then
Netflix.
He did I would have to look it up. Andrew Garfield was in it. I remember that. But he's basically directed his own motion capture. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Venom is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So I don't think you can get worse with what they did. So
Breathe.
For me, it's anywhere let up is here. So
Yeah, which I have to agree, and for the fact we're kind of a very CGI character, having somebody who understands that side of it, I think will probably elevate Venom more than it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Like you said, they could go down from here, but I don't think Serkis is the one that's going to do it.
Are they going to replace Tom Hardy?
No.
I would leave Tom Hardy replace Woody Harrelson with Andy Serkis.
They should put Logan Marshall Green as Venom. That's what they
no one would notice. They'd be like, "Wow, he got it a lot better."
Because he'd be an upgrade. So.
But yes.
Wow.
Was that on purpose or?
Of course it was.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I gotta plug the best movie of 2018 whenever I can. So.
I really need to finish that.
It's a great movie. That's a great movie.
I feel bad for not finishing it yet.
So let's talk about Lee Winnell's friend James Wan. Segways. His next film before Aquaman 2 will be an original horror film. Not much has been said about it.
I hate to be really negative tonight, but it might be a really bad thing. The fact that they announced that it's an original, it's a big deal that it's original.
Yeah.
That feels sad to me, but I'm happy. Well, I think the Conjuring is
just a sad state that
really.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily where they were going with it.
Right. Maybe that's just my cynicism.
Right, because there's been the talk about how this movie is the reason why Aquaman is not being made for a couple more years because he's going to be doing this first.
Is DC planning anything to where they are okay with him pushing that back? Are they like planning some sort of reboot of the entire thing? Or
No. I don't know about the whole reboot.
They don't know what they're doing.
I don't mean reboot. I meant like, are they planning to kind of like reorganize? I mean, let's face it. A lot of those really are not very good.
No, as far as like a team up Justice League universe type of thing.
What I'm saying is, are they going to get on the page of Marvel where they have a clear direction of movies, or they just don't know what they're doing and they're okay with him squeezing another movie in?
I think it's the latter, if anything.
I think they're kind of just doing, if this makes money and the fans like it, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
If they don't, like a Justice League, Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, all right, we're done with those.
Yeah, they're remaking Suicide Squad. Or are you
it's not necessarily a I don't know what to call it yet.
I thought I'd heard that it was basically the same movie over again,
but done right, I guess.
It is Gunn.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the way I'm understanding the stuff I was reading about it, like, this has all been in talks the entire time, and Warner Brothers has been aware of this, so that they knew when they were going to start bringing in to start working on Aquaman 2, knowing that he was going to be working on this particular project. But I mean, I think the reason why they are alluding to it the way they are is there's been so many franchises that he is basically brought up, and this is their way of saying he's got another thing coming, but we're not quite there to tell you what it is yet. Yeah. Because I mean, you figure what The Conjuring,
Insidious,
Saw. I mean,
did he do the second Conjuring too, as well?
I mean, he's been involved with all of them, whether he was directing them or not. But I mean, you figure 3 relatively solid franchises for various different studios, so they're going to be like, look, he's got another one in there. He's a demented,
Yeah.
So I think
he said he's going back to his roots. He's going back to that original Saw, the more contained storyline, which I think is good. And, I mean, how long is it going to take to shoot a horror movie?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to take him 3 months at max.
Well, the first Saw was, like 28 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this movie, it'll probably come out early next year. Maybe towards the end of the fall of 2020, and he'll be ready for Aquaman. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I'm glad they can allow him to, like, not just rush Aquaman 2 into production. Let him breathe. Let him make something he wants to make. And then jump back into Aquaman. So
let him jump back into the pool.
Yes, let him dive back into the water. Let's jump to the next piece of news here. Exactly.
The fact that you have to acknowledge this, I think, is only for your own self-gratitude.
What?
I don't know. I have no interest in this whatsoever.
And what is that?
The Addams Family trailer and the Addams Family animated movie.
Is it one and the same?
Yeah, it's an animated movie. Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't say I'm excited. I was excited for it before this trailer, but I was like, okay, it makes sense to have a family type of thing come out this fall, for people to take their kids to and all enjoy. And this looks like the Addams Family, if no one has ever seen them and just wants to make a Minions version of the Addams Family.
Is this by the same people that did Hotel Transylvania?
It is not.
Oh, because that's the vibe that I get from just the stills.
Yeah, but Hotel Transylvania was actually kind of good.
I've never seen it.
But I mean, in terms of studio-wise.
No, it's not the same studio. It is, I'll look it up. Keep talking. MGM. Sony did the
I have not seen this
Hotel
trailer.
Transylvania.
And this is MGM?
Yeah.
Well.
Who haven't done, that's the lion jumping out.
The screenshots do look good. But
I think the character design looks all good.
But you see what I'm saying about the Hotel Transylvania, though?
I totally get it. I just, it's a new movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have interest.
I don't know what you want to say. I just have zero interest in this movie.
Maybe I call it one of those things is that Raul Julia just was the pinnacle of the film version, and I don't know if anybody could replace him.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. I think like he is just so good in
that role. Him and Angelica Houston were just perfect.
I think everyone is great in that movie, but
Christopher Lloyd.
Raul Julia definitely holds that whole thing together.
Oh yeah. I mean, even as corny as the second one was,
I love the second one.
I think, but it definitely anteed up the oddballness of it.
Yeah.
I will take those two over this any day.
Yeah, this movie looks like it was made by people who one, have no idea what is on, like, they don't have a pulse on today's youth. They're using pop songs from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, they're using jokes. Like, just look at these posters quick. We didn't talk about these earlier, but they're bad.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. Talk to the hand. Like, these are just bad, like, memes online.
Referencing the cut-off hand that runs around everywhere.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, it's like, do you understand that these aren't jokes anymore? These are what old people find funny on Facebook?
Yeah.
That is not your target audience anymore.
Maybe their audience is old people on Facebook.
I guess, but...
Yeah.
I mean, the Addams Family's been around, 60 years or so?
Yeah, since, like, the, 50s, 60s?
50s or 60s,
Oh,
yeah.
Give or take black and white.
And, yeah, I don't know who this movie's for. I don't think it'll make as much as they're expecting to keep an animated franchise, is what I'm assuming they're going with.
I will tell you who it's not for. Me.
I don't think it's for any of us at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to be a commercial flop.
I agree with that.
Who knows?
Yeah, it doesn't look good. The last piece of news, we got to talk about this Disney Plus news that's been going on.
I love it. I love it.
They released a new package deal for when this drops. You can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for $13 a month. That is a very hard thing to say no to.
That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you're paying for the bottom of the barrel Hulu, that's $6, and another, what was it, $6.99 they said for Disney Plus. So there's, at that point you're paying like $1 for ESPN. For a guy who doesn't do the whole ESPN thing, that's still worth its money in gold.
Yeah. I mean, I think ESPN Plus is $4.99 a month.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
You're probably saving like $2, but still, I mean, you get all the live sports you want. I'm assuming you get to DVR some of that stuff too.
And it's probably, one singular login, so you're not having to worry about, this login, what am I logging in, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it'll probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they built some sort of integration so you're literally just going into one app.
That's what it's probably going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Hulu right now. I get the ad-free one, so I'm just hoping there's a little bit better package that you can get the ad-free Hulu with all this.
Oh.
Well, I don't like my ads.
Well, I don't like them either, but
first world problems.
I get it for free, so I'm not going to complain.
Hacker, I'm just kidding.
No, I get it. I have a Spotify. Yeah.
But in the question is going to
I'm a hacker.
But in the question is going to lie is that when this rolls out and whatnot, are they terminating their relationship with Spotify?
I don't know, and I don't really care. I guess. I mean,
because if you're going to end up with this anyway,
I have no idea what's going to happen.
You're like,
I mean, my wife,
my kids won't be old enough to appreciate it.
My wife basically said when our daughter's old enough, we'll be getting Disney Plus, so I can see us getting this package because there's stuff on ESPN Plus that I would love to watch,
right?
And have access to. So, and only $7 more, $8 more a month, like it just, or what is Disney Plus going to be?
$6.99.
Yeah, so for like another $7 or $8
to get those two,
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And we have Hulu as well, and we love Hulu. So.
And I had a couple people saying, what the idea was. I'm like, or why they would go this route and whatnot. And I'm like, think of just going to the shareholders or going to the chair and be like, so your ESPN user base just jumped up 75%. Because you're going to get people like me who I'm now technically a ESPN Plus subscriber, and that's not my intent. But you can use those numbers when you're talking about sponsorships and ads and whatever the hell you're going to do. It's going to be killer for them, I think.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, Netflix should be pretty worried about their
definitely.
business.
I think this.
I want to drop them big time. Like, I just don't have anything on there that I want to watch. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think Netflix is going to be in trouble here pretty soon. As soon as this Disney thing drops, I can see, us movie nerds, we're going to probably have this and Amazon Prime, and we're going to have all of them anyway.
Yeah.
Like, the general movie-going audience is just going to be like, I'll just get the Disney and Hulu thing.
Yeah.
It's less than Netflix, and it has Disney.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be tough on them. They're going to have to figure something out.
I'm sure they'll figure something out, but...
We're going to start getting...
They're already cutting back, I heard, on their Netflix original movies.
Well, if they didn't release such crap,
Yeah, they need to roll it back and do more quality than it is quantity.
Yeah.
And actually promote their stuff.
I'm not
that too.
I'm not business savvy. I don't know how Netflix makes money. I have no clue. From my understanding, they're millions of dollars in debt.
Oh, they are.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in debt.
Yeah, they are.
So they better win that Oscar with The Irishman and figure something out because they could be in big trouble.
I think the thing they have to go with is what they're doing with like The Irishman and Roma is actually put these movies in the theaters first and then put them to Netflix.
Oh, so they can make some revenue.
Yeah, I would do like a 2-week run in the theaters. Not with everything, though.
Roma, well, I see what you're saying.
But like in Sioux Falls, we didn't get it.
They were just basically doing it in the
Roma.
When? What?
Yeah, West Mall had it for a while.
Oh, so at that point it was considered a second run, which means it'd been on Netflix.
It's already
on
Netflix. Yeah. I'm saying do it before you even drop it on Netflix.
Yeah. What they should do is,
because that's what Amazon does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes for like months in advance.
Oh,
I think Suspiria came out in the theater, and then it was like 7 months later it finally came out on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, there's a handful of those ones where I didn't even realize they were Amazon Prime or Amazon movies until you're like, oh well, that's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You could buy it digitally if you wanted to after a certain time, but like streaming, you're like, where the hell is it?
Yeah, I think that's the next step Netflix has to take. But let's jump back to Disney. They're going to be doing some remakes of some Fox properties. They're just going to remake everything at this point.
I love that Blake and I were going back and forth earlier today about the whole Home Alone thing and trying to circumvent the bringing this into the 2000s and be like, what about that cell phone of his?
Yeah, one of those is Home Alone, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Night at the Museum, and Cheaper by the Dozen. All Fox properties that they are going to remake.
All right.
Okay, first question. I think I already know the answer. Is anyone excited for any of these?
No, but...
Well, Cheaper by the Dozen probably needs it. I don't know why they're doing... They're still making those movies now.
They've already technically remade that series once.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Yeah, they've made like 5 movies.
Have the last couple been straight to video?
No.
Same kid?
No, it was a different kid. So
Okay.
Technically, it's already been rebooted.
The first, I think, 3 movies had the same kid.
Yes, and then this new one had...
I don't know why, but I love those movies.
I agree with you. I enjoy those.
There's something about those movies that really speak to me, and I don't know what it is, but they're just so much fun, and they're so innocent, and I don't know. So, I guess remake away, but if people are listening and really like the first 3, or haven't seen them, the first 4? Yeah. I haven't seen the 4th one yet.
4, and the 4th one is with the different kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because it looks like it was 2010, 11, 12, and then it waited 5 more years and didn't come out another one until 17.
The first 3 are great. I stand by that.
I went and me and my buddy went and watched the second one in the theaters together because we're like, that first one is actually kind of good.
Yeah, my wife, my girlfriend at the time, she wanted to watch it, and I'm like, all right, whatever, we'll watch it. And I just like, this is really good. This is highly entertaining.
They're good kids movies. Yeah,
they are.
That's why I'm hoping we get something good out of these because I've been thinking about that. I'm like, we haven't had like good kids properties that adults can also enjoy.
Would you feel that the Ben Stiller's Night at the Museum was bad movies to the point where they feel that they need to remake them because of that? Because I don't think for Night at the Museum, I enjoyed those as well.
They're all right.
Yeah,
I mean they're not like
they're family films.
Yeah.
I treat those a little differently than something we would watch.
Right.
They're fine.
I'm not going to go out of my way to go watch A Nightmare.
Right,
I thought Rami Malek was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to go. The only one I'm skeptical of is Home Alone because they've already done it 3 times without Macaulay Culkin, and it's like.
But those were straight to video.
They were.
No, 2. At least one of them was in the theater.
Maybe the third one.
The third one was.
Yeah. And then that's when
which
I
sort of enjoy that one.
Yeah.
No, if it's not Macaulay Culkin, I
They
revolt.
haven't announced it though. What if it is Macaulay Culkin?
Maybe Macaulay Culkin takes the Joe Pesci role.
I feel like this has already been remade within the last year, and it won't be as good as that. So
what was that?
That Google commercial or whatever he did.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What if they bring back Macaulay Culkin and he's the dad?
Oh, and then
Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern's kids are the robbers.
Here's what's going to happen with that. Macaulay Culkin's going to be the dad, and then he's gonna turn to the camera, which is supposed to be like the POV of his son, and he's going to be like, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do," and then he'll wink, and then he'll leave, and then like that is like winking to all the other people who grew up with Home Alone, and it's like, all right. No, I don't.
You've sold me on that.
No,
just by saying
it's
that.
You
happen. Honestly have
if
sold me.
Dad,
on
that's what's gonna happen. I bet my life on it.
I would watch that though.
No,
I would.
Maybe $10. We'd prefer to keep you alive.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyone have any other final thoughts on this Disney thing? They're just gonna try to milk any property that they have.
They should remake like Flight of the Navigator or what's the other one? The Black Hole. That's what they should remake.
There's
There's stuff from like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
There's so many of those. Yeah. Oh no, Flight of the Navigator. I'd definitely be one of those. I would love to see it. I enjoyed that movie so much as a kid.
Yeah.
But that would be for today's technology. I would love to see what they could do.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this on our like second episode of the show. We talked about Disney Plus getting announced. Mm-hmm. I mentioned then, and I'm going to say it again now. Mighty Ducks 4. Make it happen. Bring back Emilio Estevez.
Joshua Jackson.
Yes, bring him back. Kenan Thompson.
I am not one of those guys who thinks that's a good series at all, but that,
You're wrong, but that's okay.
Ducks fly together.
Ducks fly together. Quack, 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 Mr. Blake.
My wife and I did a double feature that was one night. It was on Netflix. We watched them, the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you realize, why did I do this?
Well, no. I mean...
They're okay and they're right.
They exist in an era that is, of its time. With Rookie of the Year and those types of zany kid
sports comedies.
Yeah.
I loved Rookie of the Year, as terrible as that movie is.
Why don't we get more of those? Bring those back, Hollywood.
Because they go straight to video. We never see them. They're on Netflix and we don't know because they're in the section we don't look.
Yeah, that's true. Remake Heavyweights, too. Do that, please.
Over the top.
Heavyweights. You ever seen Heavyweights? It's a great movie.
No, I don't think
Silence?
I have.
Okay.
Silence.
Okay. Silence. Check it out if you haven't. So let's jump to what we watched recently then.
Our new section that we're trying out.
Yes, we're going to replace the box office for a little while. We're going to let Andy Erickson, he's going to do a write-up on that every week, go a little bit more in-depth on the actual numbers. But in replacing that, we're going to do what we've watched recently.
It just feels like, for a movie podcast,
we don't talk about
movies we've watched recently and like, oh, yeah, I discovered this or I didn't like this. So kind of a new concept that we could try. I can see where it goes.
Right.
All right, who wants to kick it off? Blake, you got one?
Yeah. I got a bunch. Like, how much time you got?
You only get one.
I get one?
No, I'm kidding. Just start.
Okay. I watched 4 recent movies.
You listened to him.
I watched 4 recent movies. I'll go through a couple of them really quickly first, and then the other 2 we'll see what ends up happening with it. So the first movie I watched was a Spanish movie called All About My Mother, which is by probably one of the most famous Spanish directors, Pedro Almodóvar. And it's a really good drama about women and mothers. Basically, this woman living in Madrid loses her son and ends up moving to Barcelona to find the father of her dead son to tell him that her son passed away, and he is now a woman. And so it's about this. It's this whole journey about like who women are and how they nurture and how they interact, and it's such a lovely movie that I would recommend for any of our listeners who are into foreign cinema. The reason why I watched this is because I recently signed up for the Criterion Channel, and they do like these collections each month, like these new collections, and the collection that they threw out recently was the Pedro Almodóvar, where they have like 6 or 7 of his movies, and this one I hadn't seen before, so I decided to watch it. It's really good. I highly recommend it.
So, just for the sake of my curiosity in the Criterion Channel, because as much as it intrigues me, I assume that it's only...
There are no Marvel movies on this.
No shit, Sherlock. No shit. The day I want to see the day that one of the Marvel movies shows up, at Criterion Edition.
I will say Armageddon is on the Criterion collection.
I have that.
Yeah.
I have that.
I saw those at. I went to Last Stop today and saw the Armageddon. That Criterion collection.
Yeah. Because the Criterion is the director's cut, which I actually really enjoy better. It's not much longer. It doesn't add a lot, but I
still have Aerosmith.
You'll always have Aerosmith. It's Liv Tyler. I assume that it's only a cross section of what Criterion has because of digital rights and all and streaming. And I assume.
So they show a lot of their own movies, obviously, like that they put in the collection, and then it's like a rotating door. So each month stuff leaves, and then new stuff comes in. The great thing about the Criterion Channel is that it's geared at people who love movies. So you can watch a movie if you want to, but you could also watch it and they have the commentary tracks on there. So you can watch a movie and listen to the director talk about it. There's interviews with the filmmakers, with people who are influenced by the movie. They have behind the scenes stuff. They have featurettes on art house cinemas around the country, and they interview the people who curate them, and like Scorsese has this whole thing where he's presenting movies that have never been seen before. For $12 a month, like it's
what you literally are defining to me is the definition of the Criterion Collection,
right?
Which I appreciate is the fact that they've basically made a digital version of what they do, what they're about.
Right.
Like if you have a Criterion, anybody who knows Criterion enough is like if you went to go buy the hard copy off the shelf. It's not just your bare bone movie. You're gonna get so much shit along with it and stuff that's only in that. Right. So I love the fact that they're basically doing that with the channel.
And they also have other movies that are not on the collection that they also have gotten the rights to. So not the rights, but like they've gotten the ability to play them. So
and who knows? Maybe those are ones that are they're working on trying to get into the official collection.
It's very possible. But if you're a cinephile and like really love to like it's hard to like. If you're looking for new stuff or like a new boundary to push, like the Criterion Channel is amazing and totally worth $12 a month.
So what you're saying is telling people to drop Netflix, get the Criterion.
That's exactly what I would like to do, and I'm trying to do.
But your wife won't let you.
That's exactly what I'm trying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Do it.
Yes, do it.
Do it.
All right, you got another one?
I have a few more. I'm sorry. I watched a movie called Wild Rose. Amazing movie. I highly recommend it. It's on Amazon if you want to watch it. You have to pay for it. It's about this singer in Scotland. Not a singer. She's a woman in Scotland, and she can't get her life together. She has 2 kids. She just got out of prison, and she wants to become a country singer in Nashville. And she
That's the place to do it.
Her own worst enemy is herself. She just has all these issues. And then the story along the way, she finds people who are very much in her corner. And it's a classic tale of like, you have the people who are telling her she can't do it, and the other people who are really, really backing her. And it's a great movie. I'd say it's one of the best movies of the year. I highly recommend that. I watched Avengers Endgame finally, so you all can start talking about that. I thought it was really bad.
Yeah, I saw I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You did not hold back at all.
I didn't see anything.
Avengers Endgame, I love the first 45 minutes.
Go to his letterbox.
Okay.
Oh, is that you follow me on there?
I saw that and immediately like, wow.
My review.
Follow Blake Ginithan on Letterboxd.
My review on Letterboxd was end this fucking garbage series now, which is a very exacerbated way. Like I think I changed it, but like I love the first 45 minutes of Endgame. I love this whole we have to figure out a way to live with what's happened. And I love the whole regret of this person, I could have done this, or you could have done this, and I could have done that. And I loved all that. And then when they went back in time, spoilers for people who have not seen Endgame.
Too late.
We already spoiled it 2 months ago.
So when they go back in time, I was just like, I'm out. I don't care about any of this stuff. Like, let's get to the Thanos thing.
Get to the big punching.
And then the last third was okay with some cool endings thrown in, So it's fine. It's how many Marvel movies are there? 23?
Through Endgame 23.
Yeah, it's top 20.
Far from 23.
It's top 23 Marvel movies for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then last night I watched Brightburn. I really liked this. And then
okay, first, what was a better superhero movie, Brightburn or Endgame?
Brightburn.
Okay.
Although it's more like an anti-superhero movie, if anything.
Definitely.
So I liked the idea that Brightburn presents. I thought it could have used another 20 minutes.
Agreed.
To flesh out things, because I just feel like all of a sudden he's like, I want to be bad. I just want to kill people, and I didn't feel like the movie really explained why, other than maybe he felt like an outsider and he started to learn. But I think the movie is more about adolescence and growing up with this preconceived notion of who you are, and all of a sudden finding ways that this is not really who I am. This is kind of who I am, just in more of a negative aspect. And then I thought the movie was way too violent. And
look at who you're talking about, though. I mean, in terms of who's making the movie.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with extreme violence and gore and slaughtering people. I'm totally okay with it. I just feel like this movie did it to be mean. Have you seen Brightburn?
Go ahead. I don't care.
Okay, there's
spoilers for Brightburn. Spoilers for Brightburn.
I spoiled it.
There is a scene. I'm not going to tell you how. There's a scene where this guy gets like his jaws like hanging off of his
Badger.
mouth. It's cool, but like then the kid walks up and puts his hand in his mouth and is like, you know, moving his finger around and then puts the blood symbol on the ground. And like it all just feels like really like if the movie had set up, you know, more of like why this kid was bad and the more family stuff with the parents and then their aunt and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the violence would have been earned and okay. But like when he was like he messed some people up in this movie. Like I wasn't expecting how violent this was. But it was a complete turnoff for me. Complete turnoff. So, like, I reluctantly give that movie a thumbs down. Like, I really wanted to like it. Has a really interesting idea. But, like, it could have used, like another 10 or 15 minutes before whatever happens and another, like, 10 after everything happens. If that makes any sense to you.
No, that makes total sense. I mean, I saw this in the theater, and I thoroughly enjoyed it because it is... When you're looking at it and going, okay, we're going to take an established superhero and we're going to turn it on its ear.
So is it supposed to be Superman in a way? Or
an interpretation of.
Okay. I mean, it's very obvious.
Right. Because pretty much 95% of his powers are existing Superman powers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at it and say, okay, so what would happen if Clark Kent, you know, crash landed and was bullied and... You know, the pod, because the pod is what was talking to him and basically telling him that he needs to be the superior being.
Right.
And, you know, I love the fact that the way that they kind of made you want to hate this kid. Like, you don't go to a movie going like, by the time I leave, I don't want to be hating a 12-year-old.
But I didn't feel anything for him before he turned. You know, it's like... It's kind of like Hollow Man. Like, Hollow Man would have been great if he wasn't such an asshole before he turned into an asshole.
Right.
You know, like, this kid is constantly... Like, this kid's, like, never... You never connect with him to where you're like, oh, I feel sorry that he's turning into a dick and a bad guy. But, like, he just feels like a bad guy immediately. That was my issue.
I'm just hoping that with the way that they ended it, that and if they made enough movie, being that it's a low-budget horror movie...
Yeah. I mean, it made, like, 4 times its budget back. So.
Right. Is that they purposely ended it with Michael Rooker, which I think was fantastic to basically say, we just gave you our equivalent version of a bad Superman. Here's bad Aquaman and here's bad Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm hoping that we will see the next iteration and this potential universe, and, you know, maybe they will learn from some of the things that they did from Brightburn to give us the, you know, this guy may talk to fish, but he just had Jaws bite off your head. I don't know.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize that was how it ended. That immediately turns me off to the ending. Because I don't want to build an entire universe around.
No.
So no.
It's more like
So basically, the way it ends is that.
I'd be alright if Michael Rooker plays like a good Lex Luthor.
No. Michael Rooker.
He plays a loony YouTuber.
He plays like the conspiracy theorist on the
Alex
TV.
Jones, basically. Is what
Yeah. Okay,
so he's J. Jonah Jameson in the new Spider-Man.
So like. There's all these news reports of all this chaos and everything that's happening because the kid is basically running amok.
That stuff is really cool for the record.
And, you know, so there's all these news reports and he's reporting on it, and then he proceeds to talk about the witch woman with the rope and the fish man. So he doesn't name them specifically or give them any sort of definitive name, but he basically acknowledges there's an evil Wonder Woman and an evil Aquaman.
Yeah, that turns me off. I mean, if they do go with having not seen the movie, I would kind of want to just see more progression of the actual character that you focus on in the first movie, rather than trying to set up an evil Justice League.
You know, to me, it reminded me a lot of Split, where it's like they're setting up a bad guy for someone to fight in another movie. That's what it kind of felt like to me.
That'd be an interesting way to go about it.
So, like, maybe they make maybe what they should do is they should make a sequel. And it's like an origin story for a new superhero, and then
don't reveal the title that it's connected to Brightburn.
Exactly.
Pull a Shyamalan.
Yeah.
It's a twist.
That's why I think Split is the best. Like, might be the best out of that series.
It is the best out of the series.
I really wanted to like Brightburn a lot.
Unbreakable is great, Brian.
That's so mean spirited. It's so mean spirited. Like, he could kill people and I'd be fine with it, but like. There's a part where, like, he beats the shit out of this woman police officer and then throws her, and then she's like, oh, like blood's all over her face, and it's like it just seems like it's just for shock value. That's just me, and I don't know. I'm usually okay with extreme violence, but like I don't know.
All right, should we move on for Brightburn? I still want to watch it.
Yeah, no, watch it.
I definitely recommend watching it.
I still recommend watching it.
All right, Brian, you got some recent watches at all?
Well, I went and decided after I got my digital copy of Endgame that I was like, you know what? Why not just completely rewatch the MCU?
We can keep talking about Endgame if you want to.
No, so I'm almost done with Phase 1. I'm trying not to get into ones that I don't know right now because I'm also trying to get through the last couple episodes of The Boys on Amazon. Because even though that is not a movie, that is something I've been looking absolutely forward to, and it's an amazing show, and I'm so glad we're going to get a season 2, and I'm not even done yet. At least if you're going to give a pissed off, anti-hero or like the good guys that are bad or whatnot, The Boys is a great way.
Yeah, what's The Boys about?
The Boys is pretty much the world is familiar. The superheroes are real. People are born with special powers. For different reasons, there is a group called the Seven, which are 7 superheroes that are actually pretty much corporate goons for Vought. But they are, there's Homelander, who's kind of like your Superman-esque type character and whatnot, where he's the face of, the American hero and everything like that, but you realize he's just a pompous ass who thinks he can do whatever he wants, and, if he doesn't think it's going to work, that he can't save 100, that there's a particular part in there where they attempt to try to save an airliner that's going down over the Atlantic. It's not going to work, so he said, screw it, so just let all 127 of them die. Bye. He's just like, it's not going to work for me, so who cares, kind of thing, The very first episode has their Aquaman-esque type of person basically be like, the new gal that comes into the Seven. Oh, I was your favorite. Drops trowel and be like, this is how you're going to get inducted. And that's the first episode.
I already hate these people.
And that's the beauty about it, is because The Boys, Carl Urban, the one guy he meets up with, and for some reason it's escaping his name. The reason why he's out to get these guys is because he's literally standing in the, his girlfriend, soon to be fiance, is barely off of the block, and there's a character named A-Train, who's like the equivalent of the Flash, who just barrels right through her. So your first 10 seconds of the show is him literally holding on to her, watching the blood, and all he's left is holding her hands. The idea is trying to...
So this is an adult...
Oh, yeah, there's...
superhero show.
There's definitely... This is not a kid's TV show.
Jeez.
It literally, like, when it comes up with, the disclaimers at the very beginning for mature audiences, it pretty much has all 6 that you would expect to see.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But it's it's getting...
Is it fun, though? Like, is it a serious show? Or, like, a comedy, or is it a drama? Like, how would you describe it?
I would say it's more of a drama, more of...
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely more of a darker take on superheroes.
Interesting. I've seen the previews. I didn't know it was like that, though.
And isn't Seth Rogen a producer on it? Or?
Yeah. The Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, the guys behind Preacher, are behind it. I think they're already like halfway through filming for season 2, because they basically had season 2 greenlit before it even dropped for season 1.
I don't know. There's so many superhero stuff. It's hard to keep up with any of it.
And that's one thing I liked about this, because it is completely against the grain, which partly is one of the reasons why I did like Brightburn. But at least if you're gonna say is, if you're gonna give me a bad superhero into your reference of Brightburn, this is probably the way for you to go.
Yeah. And for the record, I do recommend you watch Brightburn. It just didn't land with me. Yeah. So I might check this out. This sounds pretty cool.
Where is that? Is that on Amazon?
That is an Amazon Prime exclusive. They're the ones that are putting it out.
How are the first couple Marvel movies holding up for you?
I think they hold up just fine.
Also, I have a really dumb question.
Yeah.
What's the end of Phase 1 with Marvel?
End of Phase 1 is the Avengers.
The Avengers? Okay.
Yeah. It's only until Phase 2 and 3 where they get your like epilogues. Where Ant-Man is the one that ends Phase 2.
Which I hate. Just end on the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Like a book at
the big culmination of a phase.
Yeah.
A story.
So how are the rewatches for? Because I started my own Marvel rewatch too.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gone back to it for a while, but I'm curious what you think.
What are the few standouts that may have changed, if any?
I'm glad they got rid of the whatever facial hair thing they were doing with Chris Hemsworth during the very first Thor. Like it just looked bad.
I think the first Thor and Iron Man 2 won't hold up at all for me.
See, I thought Iron Man 2 was better on rewatch than I remember it being.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree with it. I mean, I still don't.
I was surprised.
I still don't.
And Iron Man stunk with me, so I don't know.
And some of the stuff where you look at and there is some dating that is involved, and you realize that you can tell these movies have been it's been 10 years since they were made. But I mean,
I feel like unless a movie's really special, that's gonna happen with every movie.
Exactly. So I mean, right now like I said, I'm about halfway through the Avengers, and they're those kind of movies where I'm gonna enjoy them 10 years from now, even again, and I'm gonna rewatch them, and because I can, and it is kind of fun going back and be like, it's been a while since I've seen it. You'll either be like, oh yeah, I remember that part, or oh shit, I guess I didn't realize that. Because one of the things that, since the last time I watched the Avengers, they're talking about how Loki was always under the influence. Now that Loki kind of turned into the anti-hero, and like, well, everybody likes this guy. He literally tried to kill New York in the very first Avengers. And it's like, if you watch the very beginning of it, you realize that he's got the same like color complexion to his face and his eyes like what Hawkeye did, and what the professor did, to realize he was underneath the influence of that scepter the entire time. So he was under Thanos' control during the Avengers, and it wasn't his doing.
What's the earliest Marvel movie where Thanos is referenced?
The Avengers.
Where his name is mentioned.
His name isn't mentioned till Guardians.
Okay.
But he is the after credit scene of the first Avengers.
Yeah.
You just see the big purple guy.
You see
turn
the great
around
big
and
purple
smiles.
face.
I thought the first Avengers was them in the cafe, like chilling out.
Well, they have a couple.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shawarma scene. The reason why Chris Evans is sitting with his hand covering up his face is because he had his beard from Snowpiercer.
Oh.
Snowpiercer. That's a great movie. Watch it.
It's on
Hey, what do you know?
Netflix,
It's another comic book movie.
Cancel Netflix and then watch Snowpiercer before you.
Yes.
I want to know how many comic book movies Chris Evans is going to be in before he's like dead.
As long as the checks keep rolling in.
Because he's been like what, 5, 6?
I have no idea.
As different characters? Yeah, probably. Brian, you got any other ones?
As soon as I get done with The Boys, I picked up, because I found it cheap on iTunes, I'm gonna rewatch Demon Knight.
I've never seen that full movie before.
It's so corny bad that it was $5. I'm like, it's Tales from the Crypt. It's exactly what you expect out of it.
I feel like I had one of those Twitter renaissances about a month and a half ago where people were like, "This is a really good movie." So I need to watch it myself.
Well, and what made me even think about it, number one, it was on cheap on iTunes, but then there is a small cameo of Billy Zane in The Boys.
Oh. Billy Zane was in one of my favorite comic book movies.
What's that? The Phantom?
Hell yes.
Yeah. What about you, Casey? Come on, I've been over here rambling.
IMDb page.
Yes, it's been sitting up.
I'm assuming you just watched this movie recently?
I did watch this is one of them, yes. This is Terrified. It's on Shudder right now. It's a South American horror film.
Argentinian?
Yeah.
I've heard
something like
I've heard
that.
good things about this.
I have mixed feelings on it. Is it scary? Yes, I actually legitimately thought this was scary. There was a few moments where I don't get scared very easy anymore, and I was like gripping the chair in a few moments. I would say one thing I will give this movie is so basically the basic premise of it is this neighborhood keeps experiencing these weird phenomenons, and people think monsters are under their bed. And so basically these three people come together to investigate this series of odd events happening, and they can't really tell what's real and what's fake. And what I will give this movie is, I think jump scares often get a bad rap in horror movies, because I think if they're done
too easy.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I think it is, but I think when they're done right, like, they're legitimately scary and they're going to stick with you. I don't like in current horror movies. It's you. The music is building and building and building and then it stops, and then the loud thing just screams and runs away. No, in this one there's hardly any musical score, and when this thing just does show up, it's just in the background and you see it coming at these people, or it just pops up and it keeps chasing after these people. It's not going to just yell out a loud scream and stop like most modern movies do. That's one thing I'll give it. It has good jump scares. I think the story is a bit messy, bit convoluted, bit too many things that they're trying to do within this hour and a half time frame. But I think if you're in for a fun jump scare movie, I think there's that. There's some good gore effects. The creature in this movie, obviously you can tell from the poster. I think that's terrifying.
That is creepy as hell.
Yeah, and that's a good creature, and has great jump scares throughout the movie.
Yeah, look, I've heard a lot about this movie this year, and I've been meaning to watch it, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, so if you guys have Shudder, this is on there right now. Terrified. I would say it's worth a watch.
Yeah,
it's not gonna break new grounds or anything like that, but it's a good scary movie. And then the last one I watched, I'm excited for, because I would want to redo our found footage movie. Episode of the Killer Countdown.
Too late. It's cemented into the ground.
I know.
It's official, yeah.
This is Digging Up the Marrow.
Having said that, though, there's one that I watched that I would have put on there, too. So
what's yours?
The Hell House LLC we talked about, yeah.
Yeah. We'll just have to do a part 2.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So
you just can't add the ones that you already have done.
No.
Digging Up the Marrow.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I love this movie.
Okay.
Directed by Adam Green, who did the Hatchet series, Frozen. And I think he's just a great, not the Disney Frozen. The ski.
How do you go from Hatchet to Frozen?
Ski lift Frozen. Sorry. But this is basically a mockumentary movie about Adam Green, the filmmaker. He gets a letter from a guy who thinks he has found real monsters in the world. And so he goes to shoot this documentary with his actual cinematographer, and they go to this guy's house and ask him questions about this monster and where he found the monster, and if they can go with him like on his nightly retreat out into the woods to discover these creatures. And I think what works really well is, one, the mockumentary style, because you bring in actual people from Hollywood, you bring in actual filmmakers, actual actors, everything like that. It adds a sense of realism to this. Mm-hmm. What also works is I think this is a great use of found footage, because you never know if this guy that they're interviewing is telling the truth or if he's lying. There's evidence presented both ways. And I think that works really well. It adds great suspense. The only thing I didn't like, I thought the ending was a little cliche. But besides that,
it's a pretty bad ending, I thought.
Yeah. So you've seen this movie?
I saw it about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, there's a couple of sequences, one in particular where they are in a car at night, and one of the monsters is like right in front of them, but they can't really see it, and then all of a sudden it's just like right there. That scene like really got to me. And then
towards the end, or like halfway through? Is it the first time they saw the monsters? Or
I think so. I think it was around maybe like
spoilers,
the 50-minute mark, maybe. Okay. And then the ending where, I mean, I don't want to ruin too much. Someone hasn't seen it, but like there's a sequence where here's what I'll say: the camera all of a sudden has a new owner. I thought that whole thing was just like
cheesy.
Yeah,
it is.
It didn't work for me. In a way, this felt like if like Nightbreed was an actual real thing. Like if I got big Nightbreed vibes from this, where these monsters are underground and they're kind of not silly looking, but like they're
exaggerated.
They're exaggerated, yeah. And there's some stuff to admire in this. I would have probably would have vetoed it off the list or something.
It wouldn't have been in like my top 3, but I would have played it at pretty.
But I mean,
pretty early.
When I don't mean to, when I bash movies, I still like, I never tell people not to see a movie because I didn't like it. It's always like, well, watch it and see what you think. And this is the same thing with this. It didn't speak to me, but I mean, it's an interesting idea, interesting concept, and Adam Green always makes something that's worth watching, I think. So.
And the one thing that kind of threw me off in the beginning is because you've seen Ray Wise in other scripted stuff.
Yeah.
And seeing him play just this crazy person in this mockumentary.
He's great in everything.
But he's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
It allows this character to, you forget it's Ray Wise. He becomes this crazy man.
Yeah.
And I think he's a great part in it.
Yeah, he's a great character actor.
Yeah. And I love all the cameos in it.
I haven't seen it. I don't remember a lot about it.
Yeah. Brian, do you have any interest in this? Have you ever seen the Hatchet movies or Frozen or?
Considering the fact that I immediately went to the Disney version, I didn't realize that you were going to horror, so probably not that one. I've wanted to watch the Hatchet movies, but
they're fucking great.
I've only seen the first because that was on.
If you like the first, the second two, well, there's 4 of them now.
Yeah.
I have not seen the 4th one, but 2 and 3 are the same thing. If you love the first one, he is just killing everyone all over again. So
I just after watching that first one, I'm like, okay, this is our Friday the 13th.
And they're on Prime now too.
There we go.
That's
what I will.
There,
say.
I can watch them for free.
There you go. They're I think they're cut, but still.
Well, you get the majority. Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about. It's like when things get changed from whether it's on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever case, you get that slight variance in the cut. You're like, there was this, and I know it was there. I'm not making that up.
But I feel like with the Victor Crowley movies, because they're so violent that you want to watch them with nothing taken out.
Yes.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
They're so over the top, they're so bloody, they're so gruesome, but in a joyous way. Like you want that entire movie to be there as opposed to the camera cutting away to like a reaction or something. So
definitely a throwback to those 80s slashers. And I think it's the best one that it's probably the only one we have. As far as series, like slasher series ongoing.
Possibly, yeah.
It is, and I looked up Adam Green's IMDb after this. He has nothing really coming out after this.
He is also a filmmaker who does not announce his movies. He just makes them and then
does it,
and then says, "Hey, I have this movie that I just made. Here it is."
By the way,
and he like self-funds everything too.
Did you hear about how he did Victor Crowley? So he made the movie, didn't tell anyone. Everyone who made the movie, I learned this from Dominic Winicki's podcast because he talked about it a few times. He said, "Yeah, I'm shooting this movie." And they're like, "Oh, well, what are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I don't know yet. I'm going to do this movie, and we'll see what comes of it." So everyone who's involved signs NDAs. They can't talk about the movie at all. So he did this this screening. He's like, "I'm going to do this 10th anniversary screening of Hatchet at this theater," and get all the cast to show up and everything, and they're all there. He gets on stage and he's like, "Hey, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out, but I did lie to you. You're not seeing a 10th anniversary screening of Hatchet. You're actually watching the 4th and newest movie that I shot in secret. Victor Crowley. And then he eventually did these it's like a road show, like what Kevin Smith is planning on doing. And surprisingly, like the fans of the movie didn't want to spoil it for anybody. So really, like, people would show up to all these screenings and they had no idea that it was a screening for the new Victor Crowley movie.
There's actually sort of reference to that in Digging Up the Marrow.
Interesting.
Mick Garris and
is Mick Garris in it?
He's in it. Yeah, he asked him.
I love Mick Garris.
He or who was the other guy? I think it was Tom Holland was in it. Not Spider-Man Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Director Tom Holland. They ask him what he's working on. He's like, "Oh, I can't really say right now."
Interesting.
References.
Interesting.
Yes. So, I don't know. That was the last thing I watched. I enjoyed it.
I recommend Digging Up the Marrow. It's interesting.
All right. Any other final thoughts on what we watch? Or we haven't even mentioned what our technical main topic is.
Yeah. What? There's a topic? Sort of. What are we here for?
We were talking movies.
What?
Yeah.
It is this week in honor of 40... What is it called?
47 meters down.
Uncaged.
Uncaged. I thought it was caged, but I guess it is not in a cage.
No, it's Uncaged. Nicolas Cage is not in this movie, so it's Uncaged.
Yeah.
I had the advantage of...
they already messed up with the title. It should be 48.
The trailer was in... I only know this off the top of my head. The trailer was in front of Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay. So what are our thoughts on the first 47 meters down? You didn't watch
I haven't watched it.
No.
No, I feel bad.
Wow.
It's on Netflix, and I decided to watch the 2 movies instead.
I think it's fun. Have you seen it, Brian?
No.
All right. Well, I'll talk about it. So 47 meters down is about these 2 girls who are going... they're in... I think it's Mexico. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere south of the border. they go on this trip and they decide to do some cage diving around sharks.
I just know it's Mandy Moore.
Yes, Mandy Moore, who I still have a crush on.
Why would you not? I'm just
You
saying.
don't need to put still in front of that.
You don't. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
It is completely.
She has not aged at all. I feel
it is completely okay.
Yes, it is Mexico.
And they go. I don't know what's the proper term for it. Is it cage diving? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they go cage diving.
Do you not watch Shark Week?
No, I don't. I actually.
This is also in honor of Shark Week, which I think was a few weeks ago.
No. It was last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just happening.
They go cage diving. Their rope, their metal rope that holds onto them. It snaps, and they float to the bottom, and they have to get out because their air is gonna run out. But I think it's just one shark who is just typical movie shark. I'm gonna wait for you. You make your move, and I'll show up. And there's some fun stuff in it. There's some cool scenes in this movie. It's I think what the very first shark movie that we'll eventually talk about kind of just stole the thunder with what you could do with the shark movie. And so my point is
Sharknado.
Yes. Okay. So my point is like 47 meters down brings nothing new to the table. It's just a really fun a
different version of it. Basically,
it's a really fun shark movie, horror movie that it's worth checking out. I think
we're gonna save that big shark movie till the end.
Yeah.
Sharknado will be the last movie we talk about.
Yeah.
So. One of my favorites in recent shark movies is The Shallows. It stars Blake Lively, and for me it works because it's a very isolated story, which I think is very indicative of shark movies in general.
It's very lean.
Yes, it is a hour 30. It is basically you follow this one character. She is a surfer, and she gets injured, if I'm not mistaken,
yes.
But she ends up on a small little island rock near the shoreline. But then a shark is within those waters as well, and she has to somehow make her way back to the shore from the shallows. And what worked for me is Blake Lively she's good in this movie.
She's very good in this movie,
and I think the isolated one-person storyline works really well.
Yeah,
one-on-one, it's one person versus the shark.
What other characters you see are all about for a couple minutes here and there every once in a while for people that are coming nearby.
Yeah.
Also, I think one of them gets killed too. I can't remember.
That tries to save her? I think so. I watched this in the theaters, and that was a few years ago.
This is just a movie that's really well made. I think it comes down to having the right choices of a director, and then, like you said, a tight script and a tight runtime. There's everything is perfectly placed in this movie for it to succeed. There's really no fat on the bones. A lot of great sequences that really it feels maybe outlandish that a girl is fighting the shark, but in this movie's universe, the logic works really well, I think. And I was shocked at how much I enjoyed this movie. It's a lot of fun.
How would you say his name?
Wami Koye Serra. He's a Spanish director who's made some really good movies, I think.
Orphan, I liked Orphan a lot.
Orphan's great.
Yeah.
Unknown is a lot of fun.
He has Disney's eye after doing The Shallows. He's going to be doing Jungle Cruise, and then rumored for Black Adam, I guess, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're like he might be doing Jungle. I was like, nope. I'm pretty sure they're done making that.
No,
movie.
he's done with Jungle Cruise, and doing Black Adam. So he must be buddy with The Rock right now. So Disney got the eyes on him.
So is Kevin Hart.
Looks like he's done a bunch of Liam Neeson movies.
Yeah, I've actually wanted to get around to seeing Run All Night.
I have not seen it. I will also recommend The Commuter. Is a lot of fun too. He's just very good at lean, mean, action movies.
My problem, and hopefully you can steer me the other way, but no, when I saw the trailer for The Commuter, it looks like it's the stereotypical Liam Neeson movie right now.
Yes.
Just on a different mode of transportation.
How many of those are bad, though?
Everything but Taken.
No, Taken's a bad movie.
I just mean,
right?
I enjoyed Taken. What it is.
But if you look at The Commuter, Nonstop, Unknown, all of those are a lot of fun. They're really good. Am I alone on this?
I honestly lost interest. So I'm like, Taken 3. I went and watched Taken 3 in the theater. I'm like, you're too old for this stuff.
Ignore the Taken series.
The first Taken is fun.
I don't think so, but like nonstop.
We need to have an episode just on Liam Neeson. It looks
we could do a Liam Neeson.
We're like way off topic, but
shark movie.
Sharks.
What?
Liam Neeson. Sharks. Do get another one, Blake.
Yeah.
Let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
Let's jump back in the water.
Open water. Another found footage movie, actually, that we both completely overlooked for our horror podcast. I'm not so heavy on this movie, but it's very well made. It's. Have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
I heard it was boring as hell, though.
No.
Maybe it's one of the 12 sequels to it.
I don't think so. Like, so basically, this couple.
They did get open water too.
So open water is based on a real. It's not based on a true story. What happened was
loosely based
in real life,
as a lot of the newer shark movies are.
In real life, someone caught a shark, cut it open. There was a video camera inside. So someone had the idea to write a movie about a couple who went on. I think it's their honeymoon, and they basically go deep sea diving, and they get left behind by their boat, and all of a sudden a school of sharks surround them, and they have to survive against a school of sharks. And I saw this in theaters on the big screen, and it's terrifying. I thought it was creepy because like the cameras they use are very low grade, like they're consumer level, so you feel like you're right there. And there really isn't jump scares. Like the couple will be in the water, and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And all of a sudden, like a fin will come up behind them, and then dive back down, and like all these little like reveals, and it's like they don't see it, but you see everything happening. And there's one particular shot at night where they're treading water, and it's just downpouring, and like this might be cheating because it's not like a shot from their camera, but the camera's looking up at them, and all of a sudden like a lightning flashes, and they're floating there, and there's just like sharks just surrounding them. And it's just these little things that the filmmakers do to really emphasize just how screwed these people are. So if you haven't seen Open Water, I highly recommend it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. Like it's one of those movies I've been meaning to watch.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it was found footage, I guess, but
I think it qualifies.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has certain found footage elements.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I put it on my list 3 years ago. I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. We all have those, right?
Yeah. I have a lot of those. I'm going through my list going, what the fuck did I put this on there?
Yeah.
Brian, you got any shark movies, or don't touch the big one yet?
That's dirty.
Yes, don't touch the big one. Do not talk about Sharknado
Brian.
yet,
Brian, there's one movie that I'm going to bring up, but I want you to bring it up first.
Well, hopefully I bring it up,
I think I know what that is. Brian, you need to bring it up.
What? Well, the first thing is I'm a big fan of Deep Blue Sea.
That is exactly the movie I was thinking of.
And mainly because of the casts and the way they use them. Sam Jackson is amazing. I love his monologue about...
I don't think he's seen it.
I've seen that scene.
Okay.
Everyone's seen that scene.
At this point right now, it's already made a bad direct-to-DVD sequel.
Yeah.
He's SOL.
Yeah.
But no, is the whole monologue with Sam Jackson, I'm not going to die, and just immediately just gets eaten. That was fantastic.
I saw that in theaters, and
everybody jumped.
I jumped so high at that part.
But one of my other things that I absolutely loved about it is LL Cool J is the chef.
Yep. And what does he have with him?
What do you mean?
He's got a parrot with him.
Oh yeah, his bird. Yes. But no, he gets a hold of the camera and he's going to give his last will and testament, and he turns it on. And he's like, "How to make the perfect 3-egg omelet making with 2 eggs." That's his last will and testament. I'm like, all right, that was just for me, as just generally as much as I enjoyed that movie. To me, that was almost like the little cherry on top.
Yeah, rarely are movies this entertaining.
Yes,
like
this is what Dr. Evil would be making if he was making his shark.
This is like one of the best big budget B movies ever made. Like
Does it fall in line with like Lake Placid and Anaconda? And
I'm not a fan of Lake Placid.
It's fun.
It's fun. This is having so much fun with all the tropes, all the cliches.
Mm-hmm.
All the cast is really good.
Oh yeah, Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane is great in it. Samuel Jackson, obviously. LL Cool J. I know I'm missing other big actors that are in it. Like I think Rennie Harlan directed it, and he just directs the hell out of it. there are so many great sequences in this movie. That I mean, like, it used to be on Netflix. I wish it was on Netflix still because I would watch it tonight, honestly. Yeah, oh man, I just and like LL Cool J has. I sent Casey the link the other day. Like, has a
of his rap song.
His rap song that plays over the end credits.
Shark fin or whatever.
My head is like a shark's fin, which
yep.
I mean, what the dumbest.
But see, that was the late '90s, where all these rappers that when they were in movies, they had to put a song on the track.
I know, but like, who's thinking of shark fins and hats? Like, what does he do?
LL Cool J.
Yeah, I guess. I can't recommend this movie enough. It's so much fun.
It is so much fun. I enjoy it. I really do.
Dare I say it's the best shark movie other than Jaws?
You need to see it now,
really?
don't you?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
What else is there? What else is there?
I can't argue. I mean, my forte into shark movies maybe is.
What Trailer Park Shark?
Mine might be a little
House Shark.
House Shark.
I might be a little less into the shark movies as you guys are.
I'm not into shark movies, and that's my point.
But that's just it. No, this movie is just so much fun. No, I agree with you. It literally, like, it typecasts perfectly, like, every bit of the role.
I want to watch it right now. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, unfortunately, at least according to Just Watch, it's not streaming anywhere.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I wish I owned it.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I wish I would watch more shark movies, because every shark movie that isn't Sharktopus versus whatever...
And those,
I enjoy.
Right, they're fun.
I don't enjoy
you
those.
Don't know those. Okay,
no, I meant like just shark movies.
I like them. I think they're
bad.
They have a place and they're fun. You can make fun of them and laugh at them and enjoy the love of filmmaking in those. But like,
I did watch one of them in prep for this episode.
Yeah,
Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf.
It's not good.
It's so bad.
It's not good.
But I laughed. A couple times.
It's good. So what else did you have? You
have you ever seen this movie, The Reef?
I feel like I have. So
it's basically this group of 5 divers. They're out in the middle of the ocean, and their boat capsizes.
Who directed this?
Andrew Chouicki?
Who's in it? I feel like I've seen this before.
No one that I can pull off the top of my head that I would know them from anything. But so basically, yeah, their boat capsizes. 4 of them go take off into the open water. One guy stays back on the boat.
I have seen this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Based on true events.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because no one can disprove it, right?
Yeah. I think this movie has moments. It has good moments. I think I would say probably half the movie I was entirely bored.
Which half?
Like just throughout the movie.
Sure.
Just bored. When the sharks do show up, I think those moments are very tense. Between that, I'm just bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I don't care about the characters.
Yeah.
I do got to say the last 20 minutes when you get to the final little chase between the last couple people and the shark is very tense. You're on the edge of your seat.
Sure.
You're I wouldn't say you're necessarily rooting for them, but you're in the moment with them. Mm-hmm. It has some great water shots. That's what I'll give this movie. It throws the cameraman right in the water with them. And I enjoyed that a lot.
I think with shark movies, you don't really have to care about some of the people because by putting the camera in the water and feel like you're being chased by sharks.
Yeah,
like,
you just imagine what you would do in that situation.
You're terrified as it is.
Yeah, and I think this movie does that. They're not on land at all in this movie. They're at the beginning, and then the rest they're
Which almost feels like apocalyptic in its own way.
Yeah, there's no one there to help. There's nothing out there.
By not having land in the movie, there is nothing like you can't imagine something that can save you.
Yeah.
There's no savior. And
even at the end, their saving grace of land is just this rock in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. It's just to get out of the water.
Yeah, and can't that rock be like the tide goes over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch this movie.
I enjoyed it. There's some good moments in it for sure. It's a slick hour 30. I think that helps out a lot. And as I said, when the sharks are there, you feel in that moment, you feel like you're there with them. You want to wonder what you would do in that situation.
Yeah.
The only thing I give it is when you get to the ending, it just like jump cuts to black, and they're like, "Oh, that's the ending."
Yeah.
Okay, and it's just text over black explaining what happens after.
Yeah.
I'm like, show what happens. I get when movies they're based on true events. I'm like, then just show what happens to these characters after.
Yeah.
Don't give us black text. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but besides that,
I think what they're doing was they're trying to enforce this is a true story.
Yeah.
We can show you what happens, but this is what happened because it was quote unquote real.
A real story. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's, as far as shark movies go, it's about middle of the water.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that.
I'm not gonna acknowledge that pun.
Do you guys have any other ones?
Yeah.
I want to throw out.
Does Finding Nemo count?
I guess.
If Austin Powers 3
You know
counts,
what?
then yes.
When I googled shark movies, that was one of the movies.
Well, no, that's just it. I'm going through. I was like, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a kind of a big part with the
Yeah,
shark.
right. That's where I was just being like, well, I'm just gonna be.
He's a fun shark. I like Bruce the shark.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out two that I'll talk about really quickly because I don't really care either way about either of them. One is the Meg, which
I was gonna ask because I figured that one would have to come up.
It's okay. Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it. No.
So
I dropped off when Eli Roth was off the project.
going into the Meg, I was like, for this movie to succeed, it needs to do one thing, and it couldn't do that one thing.
What is that one?
It couldn't. It needed to not.
Jason Statham punching the shark.
Well, it did, okay, so it fails at two things. So
Spoilers.
the Meg, like with how ridiculous the Meg is, it needed to be fun and not take itself seriously, and it takes itself seriously, and that is. I remember watching it and being like just shrugging, like the one thing the one thing it needed to avoid, it does. And it also is like, is it 2 hours? It feels like it's 30 minutes way too long.
Oh no, the Meg.
Hour 53.
It feels 30, like there's one part where it ends. And granted, like the way the movie continues is very cool, but like there's one scene where it ends. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is it. The movie can end right here. And then it keeps going. And I just, like, for me, it felt like the filmmakers were like, yeah, we have a seriously good movie here. When in fact, they just have like a really big budget B movie. And the tone is just way off.
That's strange because I'm looking at this director, John Turteltaub. His previous movies are all fun.
Yeah. No, it's
like Cool Runnings, National Treasure. Like
the Meg is fun.
But none of those movies take themselves seriously.
Yeah. It just...
This is the first time he's like, maybe I need to be a serious director.
The question I have then is, do you think this would be a better movie if Eli Roth was behind it, as originally intended?
If Eli Roth got to make an R-rated movie, then possibly. Like if Eli
you make
Roth,
it sound like Eli Roth doesn't make you.
Well,
no, that's why he was off the project.
What I'm saying is if Eli Roth came in and they were like, oh, by the way, Eli, it needs to be PG-13, and he's like, no, I'm making an R movie, and they're like, yeah, okay, then yeah, like it could have been a lot of fun, like Aja's Piranha remake, like it could have been like that, but
I still want to see Eli make a shark movie though.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fun.
I think he gets a lot of flack for what he's done, and I think he's good. And the Meg could have been better without him. I don't know. I have no idea.
And Jason Statham punching the shark.
Wait, so that was 2018. The only reason why I'm kind of curious is that if he comes off, because that was the same year Eli Roth did A House at the Clock and Its Walls,
which I need to see yet.
He also made something else I thought last year. I thought he had two movies that came out last year.
I don't know. Let Brian.
Because I was just looking at the time frame. You're talking about him coming off the project not being rated R. I'm like, about the same time frame as when he's doing his kids movie, because immediately the time when it was like Eli Roth, Jack Black. Okay, I can picture that. Oh, it's a kids movie. What?
I have heard him talk about it, and he did it for a specific reason, and I can't remember what it was for. It might have been for his... Does he have kids?
Yeah.
I think he did it for his...
Because none of his kids can watch his movies.
I think that's why he did it.
Which is perfectly fine. I mean, if he's going to make a good product regardless.
Which is what like Trey Parker did with Despicable Me 3. He's like, none of my kid can't...
Hold on one second.
What?
He made Despicable
Me? No, he's in it.
Oh,
but he's like, this is the first movie my kid can actually watch. I'm not going to show him South Park.
I was like ready. What?
No.
What timeline? That like, can the Avengers come back and save me from this timeline? Okay. Wow. So
anyway,
because I'm looking at Eli Roth and it's like Cabin Fever, Hostel.
Yeah,
Hostel.
He's got his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You got another shark movie?
Yeah, I mean the Sharknado series is a lot of fun. Like,
I was going to bring that up.
They're really bad, but like they know.
They know it.
Speaking of which, they know that their premise is outlandish.
That's why I didn't bring it up last week.
They know exactly what they're doing. So like, if you want a movie that knows its place, unlike the Meg, Sharknado up until like 4. Like 5 is, I don't think it's very good, but like the first 4 are hugely entertaining movies, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't remember any parts specifically from any of them, but like they're fun. Yeah. I've seen at least 3 of them.
They're so much fun.
Yeah, because that's why I wouldn't bring it up like last week when we talked about good bad movies. And it's because they know they're already bad movies.
And it's nice to see, I don't know his name, is it Ian Ziering?
Something like from 90210.
It's nice to see him, he has this weird role in the movie where, he's playing it serious, but he knows how to play it serious in a fun way.
Right. He's owning his role.
In a way, it's a really good performance.
I wouldn't say it's on the par of Leslie Nielsen in Airplane or Naked Gun, but very similar. He's playing it the same way.
You can either so he's taking playing it bad seriously. I think
Where would you put Tara Reid in there?
She's fine in the series too, I think.
She's bad in the series, but that's Tara Reid. She's not a great actress.
But I think Tara Reid knows she's not great.
Well, no, and I think that's where I think he's going with it is that she's serving her purpose basically.
Right.
In that, she's owning her roles in this, and that's where I think she's kind of gotten a resurgence out of this a little bit. In that, people actually remember who the hell she is.
Well, since the American Pie movies, they're not making those anymore. She has to get work. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're not making another Big Lebowski, so.
Well, that's not definitely true, but they made a sequel. But I don't think she's in it.
What, a sequel to the Big Lebowski?
John, what's his name?
The spin-off, yeah.
Spin-off.
That's a whole different thing, though.
So I recommend Sharknado up until 4, I think.
They're fun.
They're fun.
They're fun movies.
Yeah. Sci-Fi had a huge hit with that.
I don't think Tara Reid's
looking for work. It's the best sci-fi
work.
original movie. What's that?
I said I don't think she's looking for work. Holy shit.
Yeah. How many of those are straight to DVD? How many of those are actually?
Okay, but Brian's point is she is working.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. The fact that it's taking me my entire screen to get one where it doesn't say either announced pre or post production.
Yeah,
she's a hot commodity.
Nothing against Tara Reid.
All right, Brian. Do you have any other shark movies before we jump to the big one?
We did. We just talked to the big
one.
one.
We did. We should probably wrap it up. Oh, they're talking about Sharknado. Let's jump to it. Let's talk about the big one, the one and only of shark movies, Jaws.
I'm still waiting for Jaws 19.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I'm sorry. They told me that Sam Spielberg, or whatever the hell his kid's name was, going to give me Jaws 19, and fuck, I want Jaws 19.
Please make it, Mr. Spielberg's son.
I think his name was Max.
Oh yeah, that is Max. Yes.
Brian, you failed at a Back to the Future reference.
Fuck you.
Yeah. So. I'll be honest. I'm not a terribly big fan of Jaws. I respect its place in history. It is a perfect movie. You were right, Casey. It's perfect. I just don't connect with it. I've seen it a few times, and it's like, yeah, this is good. I have a friend who loves this movie, can quote every single line of it. For his birthday a few years ago, they played it at Cinemark here, and we went for a birthday party, and he was sitting there. I would look over him, and he is mouthing every word. It was insane. It's a blast of a movie. It's the original summer blockbuster. This is why we have big movies. This is a hugely influential.
Oh, agreed.
It is, and then it is in my top 5 of all time.
You're wearing the shirt.
I obviously love the movie. I have the shirt. The poster
that was accidental.
Yeah,
that was. No, it wasn't. Not at all. That poster has been in my possession for the last 6-7 years. It's everywhere I've lived. That Jaws.
Have you read the book?
Poster. No.
You fail.
I don't care. I don't read books.
You're a movie dude.
I watch movies.
Yeah.
We don't. Anyway, that's a different topic.
Yeah. No, it
is a perfect movie. Everything about this movie is perfect.
The casting is perfect.
I wish more movies were like this today, because the cast, the chemistry these 3 main characters have is perfect.
Yeah, this is a lightning in a bottle situation, I think. I mean, Spielberg found his right 3 leads. It nails everything. Its screenplay is really good. I didn't realize the last time I watched it that half the movie is just those 3 guys in the boat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What I love about this movie is basically the first. I would say it's so many different genres all within one. Because it's kind of a mystery horror movie in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get them on the water. It's a adventure movie.
Yeah.
And I love that.
It's also a great family drama.
It is.
You have my favorite scene of the entire movie is when they're having dinner. And Roy Scheider's son is mimicking everything he's doing, and it's just...
It's moments like that make this movie great.
It's so good.
And that's what I think... I hate to be that person. This is what movies are missing today, but they're missing stuff like that.
They're missing the nuance.
It's the little stuff that counts, yeah. And I think that's... 2 of the best scenes in the movie are people sitting around a table just being people.
Yeah.
That scene
I'd
with
say
him
the-
and his
I'd
son,
say the
and then the
best
other
scenes
one
in the movie.
on the boat.
Yeah.
When they're sharing their scars and telling stories.
Yeah.
And then
And
they
the-
both they all sing the song together.
Yeah.
Which-
Yeah. And like we can't forget the John Williams like just now like ubiquitously infamous score.
Yeah.
It's
Parodied and everything. It's
yeah.
perfect. And what really makes this movie work is, one, something that wasn't supposed to happen. The shark was supposed to be in the entire movie from that opening scene.
But they broke it.
But it was a POS shark, and they couldn't get the damn thing to work, so Spielberg had to work around it, and it is a much better movie for it.
Yeah.
You build suspense that entire time, and then once you do get to see the shark, when it pops its head out of the water while Roy Scheider's throwing chum in the water, it scares the shit out of you every time. And that is one of the scenes that'll scare me every time. And then there's also a scene where Richard Dreyfuss is scuba diving underwater,
Yep.
and the decapitated head pops out of the boat.
Yep.
Perfect jump scare.
Yep.
Brian, thoughts on Jaws? Jaws.
I agree. It's that, it's a good, solid movie, but if I'm flipping channels, it's not one I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I'm gonna stop." Unless
I stop every
unless
time.
unless there's literally nothing else on, I
Yeah.
suppose. I mean, but otherwise, I can't even tell you the last time I watched it from beginning to end.
Really? I watch this every year. Like me, this is, besides Star Wars, me and my brother, this is the movie we connect with. Like, we watch Jaws anytime I'm over.
When's the last time you watched it from beginning to end?
Probably last summer.
Well,
Like,
you're late then, because summer's almost over with.
Oh, I know. I want to watch. This is one of those movies I could sit and watch every night if I wanted to.
I don't
Because
think
it's
there's
that
any movie
great.
that I can do that with.
We'll just watch it over and over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah. Maybe Wayne's World 2. I don't know.
My man.
Back to the
Yeah,
future.
there's just so many things that I'm thinking about now with this movie. Like Robert Shaw's entrance into the movie is just it's legendary.
It is. He is so good in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I think he got an Oscar nomination for this movie.
Brian, do you want to fact check that? I think
But
you're right.
For
this
what's
is-
that? The Oscars for
just,
Jaws?
Just how many what Oscar nominations it got? You're right there, Casey.
I mean, I'm right here too. I guess.
Yeah, I
I'll
was
look it
like,
up.
Jesus, you
Go up.
jerk.
So, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. They're
Talking
just-
about Robert Shaw.
Yeah, he like his
He won
cat.
3
He,
Oscars.
he is so perfect in this movie, and
Best sound, best film editing, and best music original dramatic score.
was he nominated though?
Who?
Robert Shaw. He wasn't. Oh, I totally thought he was. This is the first movie to cross $100 million, I think, at the box office. And it ushered in, like I said earlier, like just this whole new, like Hollywood had this whole new perspective of,
Money.
Yeah.
essentially that's what it was.
And I kind of wish, like, if I could go back in time and just see what like this summer of Jaws was like, because this movie was in theaters like months. Like, you wouldn't see that today with movies.
No,
It's
it doesn't
still
happen.
no, and it's still going to be selling out. You know, this movie came out in June. From what I've heard and read, like, still that December, it was still packing houses,
Yeah,
and that's unheard of in today's
Pre-Star
today's
Wars, too.
Yeah, the original blockbuster.
although I
I got a question for you guys. Have you guys ever watched the movie on water at all?
no, I don't want to.
No.
No.
What's
Think
that
it would
one?
scare you, or
No, I mean no. Okay, so when I was like 12 or 13, I went to Disney World as for a family vacation, and I went on the Jaws ride. And the Jaws ride, I was sitting on the very
that's
edge.
not at Disney World though, Blake. Come on.
Universal Studios.
Yes.
Okay, so I was at Universal Studios, and I was on the edge of the boat, and my part of the boat like tipped over, and from where I was sitting, the shark's mouth was, feet away, and I remember just screaming loudly, and I was terrified, and so. When I went back to our hotel, even swimming in the pool, I could just see a shark coming at me. Like, I could just imagine it. So there's no way in hell I'm going to watch Jaws. I get scared of a Jaws when I'm taking a shower. I'm not going to do it.
I did it once in our my hometown, and they played it on the water. It was in like freaking October, so we weren't actually in the water. We were on the beach watching it. But they did a double feature. They played like Dolphin Tale or something before that, where they had, 30 people show up, and then when Jaws played, it was me, my buddy, and my little brother, and one other old guy that fell asleep watching Jaws, and it was amazing, because my brother's 10, 12 years younger than me, and we've seen the movie a dozen times by then, and we're both still just hooked on the movie every time.
It's a great entertainment.
And it's fun watching it on the beach or on the water if you have the chance.
I will not do that ever. Sorry. Just like I'll never watch Tremors in the desert or something. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, that would be a
Or
perfect
Jason
place to do
X
it.
in space.
Yeah.
I want to know the next
I have
time.
a feeling I will never, ever...
But if the opportunity arises...
We'll see.
What are our thoughts on the sequels of Jaws?
I think for the most part, they're terrible. Jaws 2, I think, is good. Obviously not as good as the first one. But, unfairly maligned. I think it's a lot of fun. The helicopter sequence is a lot of fun.
Jaws 2 is my favorite non-Jaws shark movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
I love Jaws 2.
Yeah.
Until
you see Deep Blue Sea.
Until I see Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
Jaws 2 is basically, it's just a slasher with a shark.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, it is a much better movie. It's a group of teens on the water that get hunted down one by one by a shark. Yeah.
Have you seen 2?
I've seen all.
Brian?
No.
So 3 is really bad.
3 is god awful.
But it does have probably the best line that Louis Gossett Jr. has ever uttered, which is, "You talk about some damn shark's mother." Do you remember this part in this movie?
I know.
So I remember watching it with a friend, at 3 a.m, and he fixed his DVD player to specifically rewind every time Louis Gossett Jr. uttered this line. And so it would play the line and then it would start over. And it would play the line, and we did this 100 times. It is so funny. It's so funny and so pathetic that is the only redeeming quality of this movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't give any redeeming quality to
Dennis
it.
Quaid is in it.
That's it. He's just in it.
Yeah, there's somebody else famous I think that's in it too that I can't think of. But it's really bad.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't use
Dennis Quaid and Luke Gossett Jr.?
Yeah.
So how many movies do these guys work together? You give me those two names together, and I immediately think of Alien Nation. Alien. Mine. Alien Mine.
Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine. Thank you.
There is the infamous shark scene where he crashes through the glass of the underground aquarium. Do you remember that?
That is, I'm pretty sure that is just after the damn shark's mother line.
The most god awful scene in any movie.
Well, so I'm not going to defend its use of 3D, but it's because of the 3D that scene is like that.
Oh, and it looks terrible. What? I don't know what they were thinking.
No, I don't know. I think there was a craze with 3D back then, and they felt like to take Jaws into the next, literally a next dimension.
Yeah.
This is what it was supposed to be.
I'm pretty sure that was the tagline for the movie.
Oh, really? Was it?
And then we get to Jaws 4, Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah. So
considered one of the worst movies ever made.
This is
and it paid for one of Michael Caine's houses.
Yeah. So
must have been a cheap house.
Jaws the Revenge is supposed to make us think that if one shark eats the guts of another shark, it can gain its memory and then get revenge on the family that killed. What? What is this movie? It's terrible.
Yeah, it follows the Brody family without Chief Brody in the movie. So you don't get Roy Scheider, you get a dropped line that he died a few years ago, and then you get to focus on his wife in a melodramatic love story with Michael Caine, and then one of the sons dies, I think, within the first 10-15 minutes, and then you follow the other son, and this is one of the worst movies ever made. It is terrible. I would say this and Jaws 3 they're on par for how bad they are, but you can find at least laughable enjoyment out of Jaws 3 that you can't find in Jaws 4.
There is a scene where Michael Caine comes out of the water and he's dripping wet, and then the next shot he's completely
dry. Yeah,
it's just
I've noticed that every time I watch this damn movie.
Lazy filmmaking.
The shark screams like a frickin' roars like a lion at the end. They stab it with the tip of the boat, and he roars. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because sharks don't have lungs, so they can't scream.
Yeah, it's just poorly done.
And then they use fun fact. They use the exact same shark footage from Jaws when that shark dies, when this shark dies. It's the exact same footage. They just don't change it up at all.
I
blatant lazy.
I can't recommend this series after the second one. It's not worth anyone's time.
No. And if they want to do a Jaws remake, I would say
that'll never happen.
I don't think it will.
I don't think Spielberg would let it happen.
I mean, nothing's impossible in Hollywood.
Yeah, especially with him remaking a Hollywood treasure too.
Yeah.
So
Back to the Future.
Nothing's impossible, Brian. Nothing's impossible. But
Well,
I wouldn't want to see it.
Nah.
No. So, any other final thoughts on Jaws or shark movies in general?
No, I think this is a pretty limited subgenre.
It kinda is.
Yeah,
I feel
just because we saw there was a shark movie coming out, was this your idea of doing a shark episode?
Brian, it was that or that was it.
yeah, we're kind of in a dead zone of movies right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is a pretty limited subgenre. Even though some of the ones that I talked about, I'm not crazy about, and that's just how bad this subgenre really is.
Yeah, the only one I would be gonzo nuts for is Jaws.
Yeah,
I would say the rest are
and
fine.
I'm not even gonzo about that one, but it's I recognize.
I mean, you're wrong.
I recognize. I'm not wrong.
No,
I recognize its place in history.
I will go back to. I'm gonna have to side with Blake on this here. As much as like if I was flipping through channels and I saw Jaws was on and Deep Blue Sea was on, my ass to turn on Deep Blue Sea.
Here is my opinion on watching movies on TV. I will skip any movie that's on TV because I want to watch it.
Well, it's for me for background noise because
Sure,
I'm not.
okay.
You know, if it's something I need for like background noise and something I want to maybe whatever. But no, I agree with you because the commercials and like a movie that's rated hard, like I know that's not what you said, and the editing was really bad.
Right.
But
I want to say one last thing about Jaws. It is
Why?
my favorite one-liner out of any action adventure movie ever.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's great.
It is perfect, and I want to say that's where one-liner started. I'm gonna call it right now.
Okay.
The original action one-liner, Roy Scheider. Smile, you son of a
I'll
bitch.
do some research and find
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm really curious. It's a great one though.
It's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely go watch shark movies, I guess, or watch Shark Week.
Watch Jaws.
go watch Shark Tale.
Watch Jaws for sure. Watch Deep Blue Sea
For sure.
Open Water's great. The Mega's fine.
The Shallows is
The
fun.
Shallows is great.
Watch Jaws 2 through the lens of a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to what else we got going on here. I briefly want to touch on what we got going on at Backlot 605.
Careful with the touching.
Brian does not want me to touch things, I guess. I'm going to touch on all of this stuff, Brian. The first thing we gotta plug and talk about is the Sioux Falls Film Community Meetup. So we are going to be having that Wednesday, August 28th at Full Circle Book Co-op in downtown Sioux Falls, 8 o'clock. Be there. We are going to talk about movies.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still trying to figure out what we would want to make this, what we would want to do with it. Brian, you said you won't be able to make it.
No, unfortunately, I will not.
I think we.
You picked a bad week. I'm kidding. I'm totally
I think
kidding.
we're just trying to
Gauge perceptions.
Yeah,
and
we have ideas, and we also want to hear ideas of what people would like to see as far as engagement in the community with film.
Yeah, so if you guys live in Sioux Falls or the surrounding areas, come out.
Yes.
Just come talk to us. That's all
We would love to meet you.
Yeah, we're all just trying to figure out what we want to build this, I would say, starting to grow film community here in Sioux Falls.
Yeah,
it's
it
slow.
feels like we're really starting to pull a web together.
Yeah.
And it just needs a little direction, I think, and we need help with that as much as we hate to admit it. But
next thing we need to plug is SuperCon. We will be at SuperCon September 27th through the 29th. Brian, how much can we say on what we're doing?
I don't know yet.
Okay, so we won't say too much. We are going to be doing stuff there. We just cannot say what that stuff is.
We haven't worked out all the logistics yet.
Okay, so we will just we'll leave it at that.
I'm
going to
be there.
Tease. Blake will be there. Brian and I will be there. We will have a booth. So come say hi to us if you listen.
It's more like a table.
It's a booth. Gotta be cool, Brian.
We'll build some walls or something. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll have a banner,
Is
Brian.
Andy going to be there?
Which Andy? The fat dude?
Yes.
Yes, sort of. He said he's going to try to make it.
Okay.
But yes, we're going to try to get him there for one of the things we're working on.
Maybe they'll.
We should try and get like a hologram Andy from
Maybe they'll put us right next to Wednesday Comics.
I don't know about that. We might be throwing fist at that. After last time we had Alex on, he didn't like my comments on Spider-Man.
That's because you were wrong.
No, I was right.
Okay.
100% right.
All right, boys.
Anyway, that is SuperCon September 27th through the 29th. Be there. Come check us out. Check out our booth. There's some cool movie stuff going on. We talked about it last week. The The Green Goblin head from Maximum Overdrive will be there.
I'm excited to see that.
That's gonna be cool. Group photo. Boom. We're gonna do it. What else? What else we got to plug, Brian? Besides our usual shiz. Is that it? Is that it, Blake?
Yeah, I mean,
it's what I'm aware of.
Okay, so I will jump into our usual plugs. Check out Andy Erickson's Backlot Box Office Report. That will be coming out every Tuesday or Wednesday every week, and he'll be talking about the box office, breaking down the numbers a little bit more than we actually did on the podcast, so check that out. Check out Blake Ginithan's Your Weekend Stream.
Yeah.
Coming every weekend.
I'm thinking I want to try and get it up every Friday. That way you come home on a Friday night and you're like, God damn, I don't feel like going out. What's the stream? Oh, Backlot's got a cool article every week about what's going to happen tonight. And so hopefully Friday night is ready for you to go.
Yes, so we will be prepping that. You can check that out every Friday from Blake. Also check out Coming Soon every Thursday. That will be focusing on what's new coming soon. That is what is going to be coming soon to theaters. Streaming services, anything local, so that'll be the new stuff. Blake will be focusing more on hidden gems.
Underseen movies that...
Underseen?
Underseen, that was it?
Is that a word?
I don't know.
Underseen? That's a word.
Sure.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yes. If you're listening to this, right now we just dropped our latest episode of the Killer Countdown, which is female-directed horror films.
That was fun.
That was fun. Definitely check it out. Let us know what you would put at number one.
I mean, it's the number one. It's the number one. There's nothing else you can put there. We won't say what it is.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Okay. But listen to the episode, check it out. Let us know your thoughts on that. And if you want to be a guest on the show and you're a horror fan, a horror aficionado, please be on.
Yes, please.
That was hard for me to say. Aficionado.
Aficionado.
Yes.
We got to work on your
my enunciations. Also, check out our buddy Andy at Fat Dude Digs Flicks on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the podcast sites.
Speaking of which, he'll be on our next Killer Countdown episode.
Yes. We're still waiting for a response from Andy, aren't you?
I mean, he's coming.
I mean, you called him out.
I think I said it. He's the strong silent type, and while I'm over here mouthing off, he's like...
He's
prepping.
He's prepping, and he's
gonna come out guns blazing.
He's gonna spring a surprise on me. I think
knives are sharp.
I think he has something hidden in his sleeve.
I think I'm trash talking way too much.
Yeah. So their topic will be 90s horror films.
We're gonna do the best horror films of the 90s.
That is the perfect topic for you guys.
And there's only one, Andy. There's one.
Ooh.
There's only one number one.
I still know what you did last summer.
No, you don't.
All right, so you can be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming in about 2 weeks on the podcast. Also, check out our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, YouTube. You can find the Killer Countdown, the Backlot 605 podcast, any interviews that we are doing, all on any of those sites. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow the Sioux Falls Film Community Group on that Facebook site. Yes. Join the conversation there. Also check out South Dakota Film Actors on that Sioux Falls Film Community Group page. And then next week, this next episode, we will be doing another Schmuck's Choice with a twist. This is a director's edition.
I'm lamenting the fact that I can't be on this episode.
I know we had a few things. This is going to be a big monster episode. It's a little more self-contained, but we're going to test the waters with this one, Brian. We're going to pit two directors, their entire filmography, against one another. One filmography will live on, the other will be disappearing from history.
We'll have to put the hot take in there, too.
This could be all hot takes.
I think that episode, yes, it is. I don't remember who I pitted on there, but I know pretty much anyone that you can name as a director is on there.
Damn.
Yes. So
speaking of that, you should maybe throw out Corey stuff, too.
What about? Oh, we need to plug our last week's guest, Corey Jacobson at Somewhat Random Movie Collection. Check him out on Instagram. He was on our Best Worst Movies episode. He had a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun with him on.
We'll love talking with Corey.
Yeah, he will be on a Killer Countdown.
Yes, we haven't scheduled.
Very soon.
We haven't scheduled.
Can
we talk about what the topic is, or
sure? I don't care.
So, generally, the past few episodes have been Casey and I going at it with creating a countdown. This time it's going to be Casey versus Corey, and I'm going to be moderating this, and I can't wait to host this whole thing.
This is the topic I've been waiting for since like the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, my franchise.
Casey and Corey are going to work together and against each other to rank the best of the. I was gonna mix up Nightmare on Elm Street series.
The best series in all of horror.
Disagree, but I'm excited to be in that room with you guys.
That is my franchise. I'm excited for it. I just feel I just want us to work together on this one. I don't want to be fighting because I think there is.
Once the bell rings, you are on your own.
I know
sir.
it's a tough game we got to play, but I think we'll make a great list. So that'll be coming out.
I can't wait to record that show. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It'll be fun. As I said, next week we will be doing another Schmuck's Choice Director's Edition. The reason we're doing directors is because we're getting a director on the episode.
What?
That is Carlos De Leon. He will be on next week's episode. He will be talking about directors. We're going to be talking about his work, everything he's been working on, anything coming soon from him, and then he will join us for Schmuck's Choice. And I think this episode will be a bloodbath more than any Killer Countdown has.
It'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
It'll be a lot of fun, so definitely check that out next week. Until then, thank you for listening to the Backlot 605 podcast. Blake, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time on the Killer Countdown with Blake.
Dun, dun, dun.
Brian, next week, Director's Choice. Are you excited?
Of course I am.
Excellent. I am too. I'm scared because
I almost want to look at the list just so then that way I can try to figure out who needs to be added or modified.
No.
Why do you get to know?
I don't remember who's fighting who, though.
I don't believe him at all.
I don't believe him either.
I wrote this about a month ago. I don't remember. I was just picking names. So there is one that is specifically aimed towards you that I remember, though, Brian.
Probably like Spielberg versus Zemeckis or something.
He's an asshole. No.
Oh, it's gonna be James Wan versus Justin Lin, probably something like that.
It may deal with him.
Kevin Smith is
it may deal with a little Kevin Smith guy. He might be on one of those cards.
Kevin Smith is Tarantino.
Yes, check that out next week. Schmuck's Choice will be there. Brian, until next week, you can find us on the Backlot of South Dakota.
You son of a bitch.